Good morning, O class. We're going to continue our work on tabula rasa. We're going to be looking at what the features of a recount text are, and you're going to be planning your own recount text of tabula rasa. So before we start, I think we need to recap what the clip is all about. Okay, so having watched that clip again, we're going to think about what a recount text is. Now, can you remember what a recount text is? Have a think about that now. Okay, well, a recount text is a piece of writing that gives you details of an event that has happened. So it could be in the form of a newspaper article where a journalist is writing about an event that they've seen or are giving information to the public about an event that's happened. It could be the form of a diary. You could write a diary every evening retelling what you've been doing during the day. So recounts can come in different forms. And what you're going to need to do today is that you're going to need to pretend that you are the robot, and you're going to write a recount of the day that you found that plant. So it's kind of like a diary entry for you, where you're going to be going through what you did during the day. You're going to say, hold on one second. So what happened? Let's move this down again, sorry. What happened, what you did, and how did you feel? So although the robot in the clip doesn't show any emotions on his face, I want you to think about how he felt, or how you felt, because you are the robot, when you first discovered the plant, when you fell over. What are your hopes and dreams? So that's our task for today is we're going to be looking at writing the recount of the robot's final day, your final day. Now, features of a recount text. What does a recount text look like? How do you write it? Well, first of all, it's written in chronological order. Can you remember what chronological order means? It means it's written in the correct time sequence. So you have to sequence the events in the order that they happened. For example, if we're thinking about if you were writing a diary entry for the day, you wouldn't start off by saying what you had for tea, then talk about maybe you did something in the morning, because when you have tea, that's after the morning. So you have to do it in the correct time order. So you'd first of all talk about your morning events, then maybe lunchtime, then your afternoon events. So when you're writing your recount and you're planning it for the robot, you need to think about what the first things he did, the second thing he did, and do it in the correct time order. Now, you're going to be writing your recount in the first person because you are taking the part of the robot. So you're going to be using the word I. I did this, I found that, I felt. So it's all about you, and you're writing it in the first person as if you are the robot. Now it's written in the past tense because you are writing about an event that's already happened. So you're not writing about it as it is happening. You are writing about it looking back as it has already happened. So you're going to be looking at words ending in ed or words that change when they're in the past tense. For example, you won't write I go because that's in the present tense. You would write I went. So you've got to really think about the past tense and how the verbs that you are using are written in the past tense. To help you, you might say, today I play in the street. Yesterday I played. So you're talking about something that happened yesterday in the past. So if you're struggling to work out what the past tense for your word is, put in it a sentence starting with today, I, and then yesterday, I, and try and see if you can find the verb and the tense of the verb that sounds right for the past. The next thing that recount texts use are time connectives. So I've got some here. In order to help you write it in chronological order in the correct time sequence, you can use some of the words in this list here. So we've got things like first, next, just then, meanwhile, looking up here, later, after that, after a while. So you might want to have a look at those words there and use some of those in your plan to help you remember that you need to keep it in the correct time sequence. Now, to plan your recount today, what we have got here is a planning sheet for you. And to help you remember the order in which things happened, we've got pictures on your planning sheet to give you clues as to what happened next. So at the top here, you have a box, again, of the similar words, the time connectives at the top here, that will help you sequence it. We've also got some verbs here written in the past tense. And both of those two lines are the verbs in the past tense. So when you look at your planning sheet, we're going to start off the beginning of the day. How did your day start? How did you feel? You're imagining that you are that robot. Now thinking about the answers you used yesterday. Are you alone? How long have you been there? How will that affect how you feel right now? So think about the answers that you used in the response to the clip yesterday and think about how you might be feeling at the start of this new day. Now, the next picture, the first thing you did was, well, you fell over. How did you feel? How might you describe falling over? Why did you fall over? Are your joints all aching? Are they stiff? The next picture is spotting the plant for the first time. That's the thing you did next. How did you feel? How might you describe spotting the plant for the first time? The next picture is collecting the plant. How did you collect the plant? Think about the adverbs that you might use to describe how you scooped it up. Did you scoop it up carefully? What were you looking at to make sure that you didn't break it or damage it in any way? Now, the next picture here, we've got seeing the mountain. So, why did you look at the mountain? Why is the mountain important? What was going through your mind when you saw the mountain? What did you think? Why did you want to put the plant at the top of the mountain? Again, use your answers from Tuesday's lesson as to why you wanted to take the plant to the top of the mountain. Now, the next part, climbing it. How did you feel climbing it? Was it tough going? Why were you so determined to climb it? The next picture is falling off the mountain. How did that happen? What happened? How did you feel as you fell? Give yourself a little bit of space here to write some feelings of emotion maybe. And the last picture that you're going to talk about is getting to the top of the mountain and shutting down. How might you describe that in your recount? Okay, at the top here, we've got, have you included lots of thoughts and hopes about your mission? So we've got some sentence starters here that give you some clues. I was sure that today nothing mattered but the mission. I thought it was. I felt. You can use those sentence starters to help you plan your recount. Now, you're not writing your recount today. All you're doing is planning your ideas. Now, the boxes aren't very big, and you might have some inspiration and have a lovely sentence. So have a scrap piece of paper next to you and write down some sentence ideas that you might have for any of these boxes. Okay? I've included here some vocabulary that you might find useful. We've got some vocabulary here for the robot. So he's determined, weak, he's driven, selfless, a trailblazer, opportunity, challenge, climber, mechanical, unique, resilient, sensitive. Now we've got some words here that you might use to describe the landscape. Barren, desert, bare, unforgiving, soul-destroying, sand, challenging, dusty, dunes, rocky, mountainous, dry. So you might want to use some of those words to help you to describe the landscape that you're seeing around you. And finally here we've got the plant. Miracle, shoot, endurance, flourish, sunlight, space, life, symbol, grow, grateful, survivor, indebted. So you might want to use any of these words if you want to pop them on your plan that might help you when writing it the next time. We've also got some verbs here that might help you to make your writing a little bit more exciting. So instead of using I walked, I stumbled. We did see the robot stumble. Climb, he scaled the mountain. I scaled the mountain. Fall, plummet, struggle, flourish, startle. Now remember, when you use these words, they need to be in the past tense. So rather than I was startled by something. So remember, you need to keep your verbs in the past tense. And so we've got battle, commit, change, collapse, stagger, rush, pace, sacrifice, defeat, float, trudge is a good word, unearth, relinquish, crawl, splutter, breathe, falter, awaken, jolt, realize, accept, and persevere. Now, these words you can print off. I've attached them to the home learning sheets for today. So you can print these off and use these in your plan. So what we're looking for today is for you to complete your ideas for your plan, for your recount, imagining that you are that robot. This is your final day and you find the plant. Okay, good luck and enjoy planning your recount.